What if, starting today, nothing and nobody could yank your emotions around like a puppet string? Picture waking up and moving through your life with a steady pulse, no insult cutting deep, no rejection knocking you off center, no betrayal stealing your sleep. Be honest. How many times have you let somebody's throwaway comment set the tone for your entire day? How often did you replay that moment, wishing you had responded with more calm, more clarity, more control? We've all felt it, the drag of emotion turning simple situations into storms. The good news? That drag ends the moment you decide to end it. This isn't about becoming cold or robotic. It's about becoming unshakable. Machiavelli's hard lesson is simple. Real power starts inside. If you hold your own steering wheel, nobody else can grab it. When your emotions are yours, not the crowd's, not your enemies', not your past's, you become very hard to move. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build an emotional fortress, not a wall that blocks life, but structure and order that makes you calm under pressure and sharp under attack. Across these lessons, you'll learn to pause before reacting, think in strategy instead of impulse, and carry yourself in a way that quietly broadcasts, "You don't get to control me." Before we go any further, commit to this. Say it out loud, type it if you're watching with comments open. I am stronger than any emotion. Own that line. It's your new baseline. Lesson 1. Destroy emotional vulnerability. Let's strip the fluff. Most people aren't losing because of money or talent. They're losing because of emotional leakage. They're quick to take offense, quick to spiral, quick to rage, and each time they do, they hand the controller to somebody else. When a stranger's jab flips your mood, that stranger owns you for the next hour. When someone ignores your message and you feel worthless for days, that silence owns you. That's emotional vulnerability, the habit of letting other people's behavior set your temperature. People will test you. They'll probe, push, and poke, sometimes on purpose, sometimes out of habit. The minute you explode, they've mapped your buttons. Machiavelli's spirit says it plain. You can't command others until you command yourself. The first upgrade is the pause. Someone disrespects you? Breathe. Don't give them the show they came for. A challenge hits? Stand straighter. You're not killing your emotions. You're giving them discipline. Think of emotion like fire. Managed, it warms the house. Unmanaged, it burns it down. Start small. The next time someone tries to bait you, hold the line. Let silence do the heavy lifting. That quiet will make them wonder what you're thinking, and that mystery is leverage. Calm reads as strength. Leaders who stay steady in chaos become the anchor in the room. Decide now. You will not hand your emotions to amateurs. Say it with me once more. I am the master of my feelings, not their slave. Write it, repeat it, live it. Lesson 2. Think like Machiavelli. Strategy over emotion. Most people are pinballs. Hit them with praise and they bounce high. Hit them with criticism and they crash. Predictable. Easy to steer. If you want to win, you can't live as a reactor. You have to live as a strategist. A strategist doesn't ask, "How do I feel?" A strategist asks, "What's the smart move here?" Machiavelli's line. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Isn't about speed for speed's sake. It's about clarity. The wise see the board, choose the move, and do it before emotions muddy the water. Think about your own mess-ups. How many were launched by anger, jealousy, fear, or desperation? The angry text, the impulsive quit, the too quick trust. Those are emotional moves, not strategic ones. Here's the flip. When someone tries to humiliate you publicly, the emotional move is to swing back with heat. The strategic move is to stay measured, smile, and deflect. You walk out looking composed, and now everyone else sees who's really in control. That's not weakness. That's governance. In relationships, strategy matters even more. Feelings are loud, but patterns tell the truth. Words are easy. Consistency is hard. Train yourself to step back a half inch whenever you feel a strong emotion. Ask 2 questions. If I react right now, who benefits? And if I hold steady and think, where's the advantage? That 2-question pause separates the player from the piece. It doesn't make you heartless. It makes you free. Say this to lock it in. I see the game clearly and play it smart. Put it in writing. When you choose strategy over emotion, you stop being a pawn and you start shaping the board. Lesson 3. Build mental autonomy. Detach from external validation. Here's a subtle trap. Living for applause. You post and then hover for likes. You wear something new and wait for compliments to tell you if it was a good idea. You make decisions and then audit them against what will they think. That isn't freedom. That's emotional debt. If your mood and your worth swing on other people's opinions, you've traded your mind for their approval. Machiavelli understood this with a brutal clarity. People judge by appearances more than substance. If you chase their eyes instead of building your core, you'll keep shape-shifting to please a crowd that changes tastes by the hour. Today, you're a hero. Tomorrow, you're a villain. If your identity rides that wave, you'll never be stable, and unstable is easy to control. Mental autonomy is the antidote. Autonomy means self-rule. It means your value isn't borrowed. It's owned. Start by noticing approval cravings in real time. If nobody clapped, would you still rate your effort a win? If the answer's no, adjust your compass. Next, give yourself what you begged the crowd for. When you execute well, say it to yourself. That was solid. I'm proud of that. It will feel awkward at first. Keep doing it. You're rewiring your reward system from external to internal. Also, remember an uncomfortable truth. Most people are too absorbed in their own noise to track your every move. You think they're thinking about you. They're mostly thinking about themselves. So why place your peace on their fickle attention? When you detach from validation, you become immune to praise as manipulation and criticism as sabotage. Stand firm, independent, and unshakable. Lock it in with this line. My value is mine alone, independent and unshakable. Write it. Let it sink. The moment you stop renting your worth from the crowd, you start living on solid ground. Where we go next. You've learned to seal the leaks, destroy emotional vulnerability, replace reactivity with strategy, and detach your identity from outside approval. In the next part, we'll cut the small habits that leak power, sharpen the weapon of silence and calm, and learn to read the mask people wear so you stop getting blindsided by appearances. For now, carry these 3 upgrades into your day. Pause before you react. Think before you move. Approve yourself before you ask the world to clap. Your fortress is already rising, one disciplined brick at a time. Lesson 4. Eliminate personal weaknesses that give away your power. It's not always the grand betrayals or the big mistakes that cost you control. It's the little habits you overlook every day. the small leaks that drain your strength without you noticing. Things like over-explaining yourself, oversharing your thoughts, or showing too much emotion in the wrong place. Harmless, right? Not really. Every time you do one of those things, you're signaling to the world, you can get to me. Think about it. Someone questions your decision, and you instantly start defending yourself with long explanations. What you're really communicating is insecurity. You're trying to earn their understanding instead of simply standing in your truth. Powerful people don't over-explain. They say what needs to be said once calmly, clearly, and move on. Their confidence doesn't need confirmation. Now, oversharing. This one gets a lot of people. We live in a culture that worships authenticity. But here's the catch. Not everyone deserves access to your raw self. When you pour your private struggles, fears, and secrets into conversations with people who haven't earned your trust, you're not being open, you're being exposed, and exposure gives power away. The wrong person can weaponize what you share, twist it, or use it to control you later. Machiavelli captured this truth perfectly. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver, meaning people love to exploit weaknesses, especially the ones you hand to them. So here's the shift. You don't stop being real, but you become selectively real. Your inner life becomes a guarded fortress, not an open marketplace. Only those who've earned entry get a glimpse inside. Here's how you start closing those leaks. Step 1. Speak less. Not every silence needs to be filled. The more words you spill, the easier you are to read. Step 2. Contain your emotions. Process them privately, not publicly. Power is calm under tension, not chaos on display. Step 3. Set internal boundaries. Before you speak, ask yourself, does this strengthen me or does this expose me? If it exposes you, hold it back. Because the truth is, the less people know about your emotional world, the more control you have over your external one. When people can't predict your reactions, they can't manipulate them. When they can't see your weaknesses, they stop testing them. Mystery, in moderation, is power. So, make this your code. I guard my power like a fortress. Drop it in the comments. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. Because strength isn't just what you show, it's what you protect. Lesson 5. Use silence and calm as your weapons. Here's a paradox that most people never learn. Silence is louder than shouting. Calm is stronger than aggression. Most people think power looks like dominance, noise, or control over others. But the truth? The most dangerous person in any room is the one who can sit still and say nothing, because silence makes others reveal themselves. Think about the last time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe they insulted you, raised their voice, or pushed your buttons. If you reacted with anger, they won. You gave them what they wanted. Your attention, your energy, your emotional fire. But if you held your ground, stayed calm, and let silence fill the air, everything changes. That quiet, your quiet, forces them into discomfort. They start over-explaining. They start revealing. They start showing their weakness. Silence is not absence. It's strategy. Calm is not emptiness. It's control. Machiavelli understood this balance when he wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." The message is simple. There's a time to roar and a time to observe. The wise man knows which is which. Here's what silence gives you. First, protection. When you speak less, you reveal less. You keep your intentions and emotions shielded until the right time. Second, confusion. People expect reaction, they feed on it. When you give them nothing, they lose their balance. Third, respect. Those who stay calm in chaos appear stronger than those who panic. People follow composure. The next time you're under pressure, someone testing your patience, trying to get a rise out of you, remember this: your silence is your shield. Let your calm become your language. Don't rush to fill the space. Make them swim in it. Silence doesn't mean inaction. It means patience. It means you're listening, watching, and waiting for the right moment. Because when you do speak or act, it hits 10 times harder. It lands with precision. Try this. The next time tension builds, visualize yourself as a still lake. The surface is calm, but beneath it is deep strength and quiet awareness. That's what calm power feels like. You're not cold, you're in control. Say this now: my silence is my shield. Let it echo in your head. Because once you understand that silence and calm are weapons, you stop being provoked. You become the observer while others destroy themselves trying to read you. Lesson 6. See people's true nature, not their masks. If you want to stop being controlled, you have to see reality, not the version people perform for you. Most people wear masks. They say what they think you want to hear. They act kind when they need something, loyal when it benefits them, and distant when it doesn't. Behind every polite smile, there's often a motive. Behind every promise, a potential trade. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." People are performers. The wise man studies patterns, not performances. Because words are cheap, behavior is the only currency that counts. Look back at your own experiences. The friend who said, "I'll always be there," but vanished when you were down. The coworker who praised you publicly but took credit privately. The lover who said, "Trust me," but kept showing red flags. The truth was always visible. You just wanted to believe the mask. Start doing what strategists do. Observe. Don't assume. Listen less. Watch more. Study what people repeat, not what they say once. Notice how they treat those who can't benefit them. Pay attention when the situation isn't in their favor. That's when their mask slips. The goal isn't paranoia. It's awareness. When you see people as they are, not as you hope they'll be, you stop being shocked by betrayal. You stop clinging to illusions. You trade naivety for clarity, and clarity is peace. Remember, the world runs on appearances. Social media thrives on masks. Workplaces reward performance. Even in relationships, people curate what they show. But once you train your eye to look beyond presentation, to see motives, patterns, and consistency, you become untouchable. No fake loyalty can blind you. No manipulator can hook you. You see straight through. Say it now. I see through the mask to the truth. Let that affirmation anchor you. Because once you develop the habit of clear seeing, no charm, flattery, or performance can ever blind you again. You stop playing their game and start mastering your own. What comes next? So far, you've learned to seal your emotional leaks, speak less, observe more, and rule your reactions instead of being ruled by them. You've begun to understand that calm is more commanding than noise, and awareness is more protective than trust. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into the dangerous territory of trust, emotional dependency, and the final law of self-mastery. You'll learn how to stay free in relationships, how to balance connection with autonomy, and how to make your inner world unshakable, no matter who walks in or out of your life. Lesson 7. Beware of trust and emotional dependency. Trust me. 2 simple words that can either build peace or destroy everything. Most people throw them around like confetti. But in the wrong hand, those words are bait. When you trust too easily, you give someone access to your emotions, your secrets, your peace, and sometimes even your destiny. Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. In other words, people change when their interests change. What's convenient to keep today may be disposable tomorrow. That's why blind trust is dangerous. It's not that trust itself is bad. It's that it must be earned, tested, and monitored. Because once someone knows how much you depend on them, the power dynamic shifts. You begin to bend to preserve the bond. You compromise your boundaries, silence your instincts, and convince yourself it's loyalty. But it's not loyalty. It's dependency dressed up as devotion. Dependency is subtle. It sneaks in through admiration, affection, even love. You start relying on someone for validation, for advice, for your sense of peace. And before you know it, your emotional stability belongs to them. They can lift you up with a compliment or crush you with a silence. And that's the most dangerous kind of control, the one you volunteer. Think about this. If you can't walk away from someone without losing yourself, you are not in control. They are. It doesn't matter how strong you seem in other areas. If someone's absence can collapse your peace, they own your emotional power. And Machiavelli would call that the ultimate weakness. Because dependency makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to control. Here's how to protect yourself. Step 1. Don't overshare. Your inner life is not a public space. Keep parts of yourself sacred. When you reveal too much too soon, you lose leverage. Step 2. Test people in small things. Watch how they handle minor truths before giving them major ones. A person who can't guard small trust can't be trusted with big ones. Step 3. Build your own foundation. If your happiness depends on another person, you've built your peace on shifting sand. Build it on something unshakable, your habits, your principles, your inner code. Understand this. Trust is not faith. It's a calculated risk. Give it slowly. Test it continually. Withdraw it when it's abused. That's not paranoia, that's wisdom. Because human nature rarely changes, but circumstances do. People act in their own interest, as they should. And if you forget that, you'll get hurt again and again. Here's the affirmation that seals this lesson. I give trust carefully, and I never depend on anyone fully. Repeat it until it feels like armor. Because the moment you build your life around emotional independence, you become someone no betrayal can break. Lesson 8. Master yourself to master your world. Everything we've talked about, emotional control, strategy, silence, awareness, all leads to this final truth. You cannot master the external world until you've mastered your internal one. Every great empire begins with one thing: self-control. Not dominance over other, not wealth or fame, but discipline over your own mind, your own impulses, your own reactions. You can have money, status, influence, but if your emotions rule you, you're still a slave. If anger dictates your words, if fear decides your moves, if pleasure decides your discipline, then your power is borrowed. And borrowed power always runs out. Machiavelli wrote, "The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers." Adaptability is self-mastery in action. It means when life shifts, you shift, but you never lose yourself. The truly strong man is not the one who yells loudest. It's the one who stays centered in storms. When insults fly, he doesn't flinch. When plans fail, he doesn't panic. He bends, he doesn't break. That's control. That's command. So how do you start mastering yourself? It comes down to 3 pillars. 1. Control your emotions. Anger, jealousy, fear. They are not enemies if you learn to rule them. Feel them, yes, but never obey them. Imagine this. Someone insults you publicly. If you lash out, you lose respect. If you stay calm, you win authority. You've turned control into presence. People remember calmness more than they remember chaos. 2. Discipline your habits. Power isn't built overnight. It's the compound interest of self-control. Wake up early. Finish what you start. Exercise your body. Sharpen your mind. Small routines become armor. Weak men live by impulse. Strong men rule their impulses. Your discipline tells the world, I'm not to be swayed. 3. Strengthen your independence. The moment your happiness relies on someone else's opinion or reaction, you've lost freedom. True strength is quiet self-sufficiency. When you can validate yourself, when your peace doesn't crumble under rejection, when your purpose doesn't need applause, that's when you become untouchable. Here's the harsh truth. If you can't control yourself, someone else will. A boss, a lover, a friend, even a stranger. People sense instability and exploit it. But when you're grounded, measured, calm people respect you. They can't bend you because you don't move under pressure. They can't manipulate you because you see the strings before they're pulled. Think of yourself as the ruler of an inner kingdom. Your thoughts are your citizens. Your emotions are your soldiers. Your habits are your laws. If your kingdom is chaotic, no outer power can fix it. But if your kingdom is ordered, no outer storm can shake it. That's what true dominance looks like, not over others, but over yourself. Every test life throws your way, betrayal, rejection, provocation, is an invitation to rise. Most people take the bait and react. You'll pause, analyze, and respond from strength. That's the difference between being ruled and ruling. So repeat this to yourself. I am the ruler of my inner kingdom. My thoughts obey me. My emotions serve me. My habits strengthen me. Say it until it feels real, because that's the foundation of unshakable power. When you start to live like this, something profound happens. Words stop hurting you. Rejections stop defining you. Betrayals stop breaking you. People sense it. They feel that calm gravity in your presence. You don't need to prove power. You become it. Machiavelli once said, men shrink less from offending one who makes them fear than one who makes them hope. The world respects strength, clarity, and control. When you stop giving people leverage over your emotions, you become that strength. When you stop chasing approval, you rise above their judgment. And when you stop reacting, you start directing. So commit to this from today. Protect your emotions like gold. Guard your mind like a fortress. Study motives instead of words, and act with intention, not impulse. Life will always test you, but once you've built inner mastery, you'll face those tests like a king on his throne, calm, patient, untouchable. Now take a moment. Say your affirmations out loud or write them down. I am stronger than any emotion. I see the truth. I rule my world. Because the moment you master yourself, nothing outside you can ever control you again. Walk forward with silence, calm, and strength. Be the presence that others can't shake. And remember this, your legacy doesn't begin when the world sees your power, it begins the moment you do. Even though we've already reached the core of the message self-mastery and inner control, there's a deeper layer Machiavelli hinted at, but never said outright. The art of composure under fire. Part 4 isn't just about maintaining control when things are calm. It's about commanding your presence when the world seems determined to test it. When life hits hard, people reveal who they really are. Some crumble and search for someone to blame. Some hide behind words or noise, but a rare few stay still, breathe, and think. That stillness is not weakness, it's sovereignty. It's the quiet that separates a leader from the crowd. Lesson 9. Learn the power of emotional neutrality. Most people believe strength means never feeling, but that's not control, that's denial. True strength is feeling everything and still choosing your response. Emotional neutrality means you don't get pulled by extremes. You don't become arrogant when praised or broken when insulted. You don't rise and fall with every emotional wave. You watch, you register, and you decide. Think of the mind as a battlefield. Every word, every tone, every look from others is a weapon they can use to push you off center. The emotional man reacts to every hit he argues, explains, or gets offended. The neutral man absorbs the impact, lets the dust settle, and then moves when the time is right. He's not cold, he's calculating. Here's how you build that neutrality. 1. Pause before judgment. When someone disrespects you, delay your reaction by 5 seconds. Those seconds are your shield. 2. Detach emotion from identity. You can feel anger without being anger. You can feel hurt without being broken. Emotions are weather, they pass if you don't chase them. 3. Reframe quickly. Instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift turns pain into intelligence. Emotional neutrality doesn't make you passive, it makes you precise. You can't hit your target if your hands are shaking. Calmness clears the sight. Say this line quietly to yourself. I feel deeply, but I choose wisely. That's the mindset of someone who cannot be manipulated, no matter how hard others try. Lesson 10. The aura of composure. Machiavelli believed that perception is power. The way you appear shapes how others behave around you. But here's what most people miss. Your outer aura is just a reflection of your inner state. If your emotions are chaotic, people feel it instantly. Your tone, your eyes, your body language. Chaos leaks. But when you are composed, people sense that too. They adjust to your energy. The louder others become, the quieter you remain. That quiet becomes dominance. Because in a room full of noise, the calm voice commands the most attention. You don't need to act powerful. You need to embody calm. Walk slower. Speak less. Choose words carefully. Never rush to fill silence, let others drown in it. The more centered you appear, the more others instinctively respect you. They may not even know why, but they feel it. This person cannot be moved. Try this the next time tension rises in a meeting, a conversation, or even an argument. Instead of pushing back with emotion, take one slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Lower your tone instead of raising it. Watch how quickly the energy of the entire situation bends toward you. Composure is magnetic. It makes people listen. It makes enemies hesitate. And most importantly, it keeps your energy yours. Say it with me. My calm shapes the room, not the other way around. Lesson 11. Turning solitude into strength. Self-mastery isn't built in the crowd. It's built in silence. The world today trains people to run from solitude, always scrolling, posting, listening, talking, because silence forces self-confrontation. But Machiavelli understood that isolation is where the strategist sharpens his mind. When you spend time alone, the noise of other people's expectations fades, and your real thoughts surface. That's where strategy begins, in quiet reflection. The more time you spend alone without distraction, the less you depend on outside validation, and the more solid your identity becomes. Use solitude to review your reactions. When did emotion control you, and how will you prevent it next time? Strengthen your focus. Distractions are emotional traps in disguise. Rebuild your center. Solitude is where you realign your thoughts with your goals. Solitude trains your mind to stand on its own. It teaches you to find peace not from others, but from yourself. That's why kings, monks, and warriors all practiced isolation, because only those who can command silence can command the world. Say it again. My solitude is not loneliness. It's strength in disguise. Lesson 12. The quiet ascent. Here's the final secret most never understand. The most dangerous kind of power isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the man who doesn't announce his plans, who doesn't react, who doesn't chase recognition. He just moves strategically, calmly, consistently. Machiavelli would call this the art of subtle rule. The one who controls the perception, the timing, and the silence rules. Because while others chase visibility, you build influence. While they speak to prove worth, you act to prove control. Start training yourself to become quietly powerful. Work in silence and let your results speak. Keep your emotions and goals private. Never explain your strategy to those who wouldn't understand it anyway. The longer you stay unseen, the longer you stay unpredictable, and the one who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. Repeat after me. I rise in silence. My moves speak louder than words. That's not just an affirmation, it's a way of life. The more silent your ascent, the more undeniable your presence becomes when you arrive. Where we go next. You've walked through the core of Machiavellian strength control, composure, neutrality, solitude, and silence. But the next layer, which will unfold in the final part, goes beyond mere survival. It's about building your legend. How to project quiet dominance, maintain moral detachment while staying human, and design a mind that no manipulation or betrayal can touch. In Part 5, we'll close the circle, the transformation from the reactive self to the self-commanding strategist. The man who doesn't seek power, because he is power. Lesson 13. Rise above the game. Transcend the need to prove anything. The final step in mastering your mind isn't about control anymore. It's about transcendence. Once you've learned to rule your emotions, silence your reactions, and think strategically, there's only one thing left: to stop playing the game everyone else is trapped in. Most people live in constant reaction to approval, to insult, to fear, to comparison. Even when they learn to control those reactions, they're still secretly driven by the need to win, to be seen, to prove something. But when you reach the final stage of mastery, you no longer need to prove. You've already won the only game that matters, the one within yourself. This is where real calm comes from, when your value no longer depends on the scoreboard of the world. You stop measuring your worth by applause, success, or domination. Instead, you move with quiet precision, guided not by validation, but by vision. Machiavelli understood this paradox better than most. His writings weren't just about power, they were about understanding human nature so deeply that it stops surprising you. When you see through people's motives, manipulation, and masks, they lose their hold over your emotions. The moment you stop needing the world to behave differently, you become untouchable. So here's the truth. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to correct every lie. You don't need to expose every deceiver. Sometimes the highest form of dominance is detachment. The ability to walk away not out of fear, but because your peace costs too much to waste. Say this to yourself: I no longer chase control, I embody it. That's the difference between someone performing strength and someone who is strength. Lesson 14. Moral detachment. Thinking without the weight of emotion. Moral detachment doesn't mean you abandon ethics. It means you stop letting emotion cloud judgment. Most people think being good means being predictable, forgiving, and self-sacrificing. But Machiavelli's wisdom reminds us, goodness without boundaries is weakness disguised as virtue. To live effectively, you must separate intent from reaction. You can care deeply and still act strategically. You can love someone and still walk away when the connection starts draining your energy. You can forgive, yet never forget. That's not cynicism, that's clarity. Imagine yourself standing in the center of a storm. The winds are opinions, gossip, manipulation, and betrayal swirling around you. Moral detachment is the calm center that refuses to be pulled into the spin. You do what's necessary, not what's emotional. You make decisions with long-term vision, not temporary feelings. To cultivate this mindset: 1. Detach from the illusion of fairness. The world isn't fair, but it's predictable. Study patterns, not promises. 2. Stop personalizing betrayal. People act from self-interest. Once you accept that, disappointment fades. 3. Respond. Don't retaliate. Strategy always wins over impulse. Your silence will echo louder than your revenge. When you master moral detachment, you stop bleeding energy into what doesn't deserve it. You stop taking things personally. You stop being a victim of emotion and start being the architect of outcomes. Say it out loud. I see clearly. I act wisely. I remain unmoved. Lesson 15. The art of controlled presence. Every great strategist, from ancient rulers to modern leaders, understood one rule: presence is power. The energy you carry into a room dictates how others behave, not the words, not the posture, but the energy. You can feel it when someone walks in and immediately commands attention without saying a word. That's controlled presence, the ability to radiate calm authority simply by existing in full control of your own energy. To develop that kind of presence, 3 qualities must merge. 1. Stillness of body. Move slower. Let your gestures be deliberate. Stillness commands attention more than movement ever will. 2. Clarity of eyes. Look directly without flinching. The calm gaze of someone who sees through deception unsettles pretenders and earns quiet respect. 3. Economy of words. Speak only when it matters. The less you talk, the more weight your words carry. Controlled presence isn't about intimidation. It's about self-possession. It's the embodiment of I own myself. The person who owns himself automatically shifts the power dynamic in every interaction because people can sense when they cannot influence you. Say this quietly: my stillness speaks louder than noise. It's not a metaphor, it's a strategy. Lesson 16. The final fortress: rule your world, not just your mind. You've built discipline. You've mastered silence. You've learned strategy, neutrality, and detachment. But here's the final layer, the one few ever reach: merging all of it into a unified way of being. Machiavelli said, "He who adapts his policy to the times prospers." The same is true for your mind. The world will always shift betrayals, success, chaos, love, loss. But your inner fortress should remain unmoved. That's the kingdom you rule. Imagine your mind as a throne room. Your thoughts sit before you, waiting for orders. Your emotions stand guard, ready to protect, not to lead. And your will, your disciplined, clear, commanding will, holds the crown. That is the essence of Machiavellian mastery. Internal hierarchy. The self governs the mind governs the world. You can't stop storms from coming. You can't control every betrayal or every loss. But when your inner kingdom is ruled by order, reason, and calm, nothing can dethrone you. You don't chase peace anymore. You create it. You don't seek power anymore. You embody it. Now, as you walk into the world, remember this final law. No insult can shake you if you choose silence. No betrayal can break you if you expect human nature. No failure can destroy you if you see it as training. That's the mindset of someone who doesn't just survive the game, but owns it. So, as we close, repeat these words slowly, like an oath. I rule myself. I see the truth. I am stronger than any emotion. My silence is my shield. My calm is my weapon. I am the ruler of my inner world. Because once you master that, truly master it, no one can ever rule you again. Walk forward now, untouchable, disciplined, and free. The throne is yours.